Hi everybody, welcome to today's class. I hope you're well, and as always I really appreciate your company and joining me today. So yesterday we started off a new movement, pushing horizons. The word pushing, just be careful. Yes, these are names of the movements, but when we are doing the movement or any movement, using too much will, using too much force will actually create blockages. And what we're trying to do is relieve blockages with our Qigong practice. So pushing horizons, don't get lost in the name by pushing too hard when we do the movement. And don't be too willful. Being too willful in anything in life can create stagnancy, can create its own problems. So there needs to be a balance between intention, so using your mind to do what you're seeking to do, and with the pushing horizons, that is, I'll get into a bit more depth with it at a little later date, but pushing horizons is essentially about releasing and drawing in. And it's, Qigong is this Taoist practice, and Taoism is not a religion, it's a way of living. It's living in rhythm with nature and going at that pace. So in the spring and summer, especially now, we've got a bit more energy, we've got a bit more va-va-voom in our life. We want to get up, we want to go, we want to do things. We're going to be more active. We're going to potentially get up earlier, go to bed later because the days are longer. Our diets will change because we'll fancy lighter food rather than the winter foods. So all of this happens normally. But our practice needs to also reflect that. And, sometimes when we try in life, whatever happens, and sometimes we try too hard and we want to make this particular thing work. So we try even harder for it to make it work and harder and harder. And then barriers still are, we get created and it becomes really quite a task. Or do we just say, actually, there are so many barriers at the moment, I'm not going to force things. I'm just going to sit back for a minute, let those barriers naturally come down, and let's just see what is available to us. Try a little harder, not too willful, not too forceful, and then things start to happen without those barriers being created. So I hope that makes sense. It's a case of don't try too hard. And that's not a case of being lazy. There's a balance between. Same with our practice. Don't try too hard. Don't be too willful. Don't be too forceful. Definitely don't push and lock any of your joints in anything we do. It's about creating a harmonious flow. Okay, that's my little thing said. Let's get back into our practice, and we'll continue where we left off yesterday. So let's settle into Wu Qi. Feet underneath your hips, ideally parallel. Soft joints, take your knees off lock. Sit into your kwa slightly, relax your buttocks, lower back and belly. Let your spine hang. As you release your buttocks, lower back and belly, you may well feel your lower spine just open, just a little, as it hangs. Then lengthen through your spine without bringing up the tailbone. We've just released that. Draw your chin in. Just a little to open the neck. So this drawing the chin in to open up the neck is the opposite end of what we're trying to do with the spine. So by opening up the two ends of the spine and they just either lift or sink, then we're going to allow an opening between those two areas. Eyes open or closed, entirely your preference. If they're open, then it's just a little open with a soft hazy gaze. Place the tip of the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Just let it rest there. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose, down deep into your belly. Your belly gently expands as you inhale. Returns back to its normal state as you exhale. So we can do Wu Chi sitting down. And we can do Wu Chi laying down. Now as we connect with the three treasures, which is you balanced between heaven and earth. Standing and sitting is a lot easier than to do when you're laying down. But as you lay down, when you connect to the three treasures, it's the same thing, you just have a sense of everything above you as you do below you. So laying down to connect with the three treasures is more of an intention than it is a physical connection as we do when we're standing or sitting. You can do it physically, but that's just a little trickier. You can just imagine if you're laying down on your back, you can imagine the front of your body connecting with the heavens, the back of your body connecting with the earth. And it's essential that we have this still part of our practice. There needs to be a balance of stillness and movement. Good. And let's slowly start to shake. Nice and gently, using your whole body to shake. Just let yourself go, remembering your 70%. Just gently shaking to wake up the body, to get our inner ocean fizzing around the body, releasing tension. And remember, this is a cumulative process, a little every day, rather than trying to achieve big results in just a single session. It's not how we do Qigong. Fabulous. Good, good, lovely. Shaking, just a few minutes of shaking. Lots more to do. So when you're ready, let's slow that down, transition into the slosh. A wider stance, a bow stance. Breathe, breathe freely, aware of your breathing, aware of your inner ocean that gently sloshes around your body with the movement, with your mind. And encouraging a wave-like movement through your body, through your spine. Sink your mind into your body. Good. And when you're ready, let's bring our feet back in for a normal stance into swing one. Again, nice and gently. Be kind to yourself. So when we're practicing Qigong, it's really important to remember, especially if you've had a break from any exercise or movement, or that you're dealing with ill health. You know, the body is the conduit that takes us through life. This physical presence, and just think about what we put our bodies through every day for the duration of our lives. And all our experiences that our body goes through, all those emotions and feelings, and physically, mentally, emotionally, it goes through and sticks to, it becomes us. Sometimes it defines us, our lives define how our bodies are. So when we come to movement and gentle exercise, especially intelligent exercise like Qigong, there can be a period of feeling worse before we feel better, because we're releasing all that gunk and junk from our body that it's been through previously, and it has to release somehow. So sometimes we can feel a little nauseous or headachy after doing Qigong, and that's all normal. But in time that does go. And if that does happen to you, that nauseous feeling, then vitamin C, so oranges or orange juice or something like that, apple juice or an apple, is a good way to stop that sensation. It's good for the liver. Good, so swing 2. Opening up the gate from the Kwa, so the gate being your leg. We open it up from here, not heavy in our legs, remember to keep light and that upward connection to the heavens. That's good, and swing 3. Good. A few more. So these swings build a little coordination as well as unwinding the body of its tension. Remember, that's how we release tension from the fascia, from our meridians, is the gentle unwinding process. Fabulous. Okay, slow that down, slow that down. Into circles, touching the inside of the barrel. And drawing circles in the ground with the soles of your feet. Feeling the weight of the circle around the soles of your feet. And then slow that down, change direction. Okay, so as we circle, we're noticing any sticky areas of the circle, any tight or stiff areas. And as we circle again and we come back to that sticky area, try and time your exhale to arrive at the sticky area so you're breathing out as you go through that stickiness. That's lovely. Well done. And slow that down, coming back to the center. You may naturally find that your body still does this circling as you slow down. Allow it to do so and come to a natural standstill rather than you forcing it to stop. Wonderful. Okay. Wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. A little shake out. Good. So we're going to just recap and revisit what we did yesterday. So we're going to do a few of the previous movement, the golden orb, and then we'll go into the beginning of pushing horizons. I always like to go through that transition because so many times that's where the problems are in the form. We forget how to transition from one movement to another, and that's just as important as the actual movement itself. So we're going to do a full few of the movements of the golden orb. So as if you're being lifted up by your wrists, up to shoulder height and down again. Good. And up into your arms. Palms turn, up, shoulder height, back, out to the sides, up again, palms down, all the way down to your lower dantian, and then a little pulse up to the middle dantian and back down again. Good, that's one full movement. Let's do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. Now a long extended inhale. You may want to speed up the movement. And out. And in and out. And in and out. Using your fingers as paintbrushes and the body pulses. Good. Once more. Good. And from here, I'm going to go super slow. Palms turn to face the body. Create your bird's beaks. Wrists are lifted up just like we're a puppet. Good. So just relax your hands, your bird's beaks, your fingers are connecting with the thumbs. And if you just look at my bird's beaks where they're pointing, ideally, if you can, they're pointing down to the ground. Don't push and force this kink in your wrist. Just allow whatever naturally happens here. Okay, don't, if your hand is here because you don't have that range of movement in your wrist, that's absolutely fine, but just see what happens when you just let your wrists go. Okay, and that's what we want to do. So ideally, points of your beaks pointing downwards as best as you can, not too close, not too far away. Now go into one side, turn, extend your arm away without locking. Open up your palm, draw it back in, creating your bird's beak. Look the other direction, same. Turn, extend and open, return and close. Turn, extend and open, return and close. Extend and open, return and gather. Open, close and gather. Okay, so not sure you can see this on the camera, but if you can just look at your screen momentarily and just see if you can see what my body's doing. It's very subtle. As I extend and open, my body's just swaying in that direction, just a little bit, really subtly. Just get used to this gentle, really subtle swaying with the body. Get that sense that your body's also opening up to that side. Good. Once more each side. And back to the center. Good. Relax your arms. Whenever we practice a new movement, and especially if it's top heavy, so it's arm heavy, I'll just do a few minutes at a time, otherwise you're going to tire quite quickly. So now we've got to grips with that and we've got a sense of this gentle swaying, subtle swaying internally. We do have to engage the legs and then the rest of the body. So I'm going to show you now, so it might be best to just look at what's going on. Once I've done that pulse at the end of the previous movement, palms come up so you can see it flows. So before I extend my hand out and open it, I just gently sway in the opposite direction. So if this arm's going to go out, my body sways in this direction. Now, I'm not, and I don't want to become top heavy. Okay, so if you look at what my body's doing now, this is potential for me to fall and become top heavy. So when I sway, I shift weight. And many of you have shifted weight and in previous movements before, it's exactly the same process. The weight comes down, I sink, my knee bends just a little bit more. There's no tension in my knee. I engage my thigh, I sink into my quad, and my weight goes down through into my leg. So rather than my weight being up here through my torso, and that can topple me over, my weight is going down into the ground, which keeps me nice and strong and grounded. So I'm here, I shift my weight, and then my weight's in here. This frees up my other leg, which allows me to lift my heel up, and then I take a slightly wider stance. So I come back to this bow stance. Now, we're going to do this together now, and let's do this several times to find out what width is really comfortable for you, because you're going to stay here for a little while, okay? Ideally, if you can't, then obviously return back, but ideally we want to stay here for a little while. So if you only go to this amount, that's absolutely fine. If you go to here, you're going to struggle, and actually you're not going to be able to sway enough with the body because you're going to be locked here in the hip. So you want to find somewhere that's comfortable. I would suggest maybe double your normal stance, okay? Double your normal stance. Let's see how that goes to begin with. So, end of the previous movement, pulse, and down. Hands float to the sides and up, bird's beaks. Good. Decide which arm's going to go out first. Slosh and shift weight to the other side. And then double your stance. Don't worry about the hand at the moment. Double your stance. See how that feels. Okay, and were you able to do that just in one step, or was there a little bit of jiggery pokery going on? All right, let's do that again. So exactly the same. Up, down. Sides, shift weight. Widen your stance, both stance. Knees bend a little bit more, sinking in a little bit more. Excellent. Okay, once more. Up, down. Side, shift weight. Good. So from here, relax your arms now. From here in the bow stance, we're going to increase that swaying that I mentioned just a few minutes ago, that internal swaying, but just gently. Don't worry about the arms, just let them relax. Gently shift your weight from left to right. So your knees will travel forward in line with your toes. Thighs are what's keeping us upright and strong. The quad, so we're sinking into the quad just a little. So if we go to one side, we're sinking into the quad, engaging that sit bone a little. Same on the other side. So it's just this shifting of weight, and I would say that we are probably shifting about 70% of our weight. Okay, so that is, again, that's our slosh. Okay, so without the wave-like movement, remove that and this becomes a slosh. Same intention, exactly the same things going on. Okay, so back to a normal stance. Good. End of the previous movement, the pulse. Up, down, into new movement, pushing horizons. Bird's beaks, wrists float up. Good. Shift weight one side. Keep your hands where they are, and gently, as you turn your head to look in one direction, that's the way that you slosh. Keep your hands there. Don't do anything with them. Turn your head, slosh in the other direction. So now we're turning the neck and looking in the direction that we're sloshing. Good. And relax your arms. Fabulous. So we need to build and add layers onto the movement rather than just saying, let's just do this. It's learning how to do the movement properly. It's number one, to keep you safe, but also to to engage the right parts of the body, so that it's going to be most effective for you. So to complete today's session, we're going to do a few of the complete previous movement, the golden orb, and do what we've just done here. Arms up and that sloshing, okay? No extending of the arms. We're going to add that final part to the movement tomorrow. So movement 8, golden orb. Again. So an extended inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And a little pulse into movement 8. Pushing horizons. Bird speaks, lifted by the wrists. Good. Shift weight. Bow stance. Keeping your hands where they are. Slosh. Looking in the direction that your weight is shifting to, that we're sloshing to. Not too much, but you're going 70% in that direction. Just check in with how your arms and shoulders feel. Make sure your shoulders aren't holding your hands up, your wrists up. Fabulous. And back. Good. So tomorrow we'll add the arm movement to that, the extension of the arms in timing with the sloshing and with your bow stance as well to complete the movement. We'll then add the breathing. So that's tomorrow. Now we'll just close out today's class with a narrow stance and 3 extended closes. Breathing in. And out. Sinking your mind, your chi into your lower dantian. And class. Thank you so much for your company today. Thank you so much for joining me. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and until tomorrow, bye-bye.